it's a bit of a changeable day today. We've got a bit of sunshine out and we've got a bit of showers of rain. But anyway, in the mornings I basically come up just to check on the hens, and I probably have just a few minutes up here, have a cup of coffee, and then I get on with my work at home, you know, looking after parents, getting the dinner ready. Already done the cleaning this morning. So anyway, I thought what we'll do while I'm up here, got a few minutes spare, I'm going to start off by sowing some lettuce. Now, I said I weren't going to grow any this year because I grew about 50 last year, and because I'm basically a meat eater, I don't like veg. I do like fruit, but not veg. So anyway, we were left with around 40-ish lettuces and more last year, what got thrown away. But of course this year, now I've got the hens, that I have to think about what to grow, what I can give to them. So I thought, right, I'm going to grow some lettuce so my mum and dad can have the odd one if they want one. If they don't, doesn't matter, I can feed the hens some. So I've got some little 3.5, 4-inch pots, and I'm just going to put some soil in those, some multi-compost, Jack's Magic, now our local, we've got a local garden centre which provides stuff very cheaply, and they grow their things like lettuce. They grow most of their seedlings in pots just like this, so they'll have them all cram packed, and then they sell them for £1 a pot, and then you transplant them on. So I could have got some from there, but at the time I've driven there and that, you know, sometimes it's just a hassle. So I thought, right, might as well just sow a few. So I've got a couple of packs. Little Gems seems to be a popular one. So these Little Gems came out of a multi-pack of seeds where you've got maybe 5 different varieties in. And I've got some other lettuce, some from King's, all year round. Doesn't really say anything else about them. So let's just sprinkle a few of these on. There's actually quite a few seeds in there, more than what you think. I think in this sowing we'll just do the little lettuce, and we can do the others at a later time in the year. There's more than enough in there to, and then it's just a matter of just lightly covering them. And that's it, we've got to water them and label them up. Talking of watering, folks, you know I told you about my method with the truck, and I put 9 buckets of water in. Well, we've kind of done a modification on that yesterday. Our local garden centre is selling the dustbins, the plastic dustbins, for £10 each. So I bought a couple of those, and what I'm doing now is filling it. I think it holds 70 litre. I fill it to about 50 each one, so that's 100 litre. Goes into those on the truck, and then I can get 3 buckets around what I fill those with water. So it basically means that I'm getting about 130 litre of water down at a time now, whereas before I was getting 9, sometimes I'd only get 8 in, it just depended, 8 or 9. So really I'm getting 50% more each journey, so it helps a lot. And with this bit of rain what we've been getting every night, it's been filling up my my bins around from the polytunnels, so that's been pretty good as well.
I think this one's not quite working right because that hadn't got much in, but certainly off the big tunnel that was full, and I assume the one around the other side's full as well. Right, so bit of watering, folks. Now, as I said, I've been using buckets and I've got my bins, and what I've got is I've got some water in here. I've actually got 6 buckets in here, so I'm just going to fill this bottle up. There we are, and then I can just give this a good soaking. And doing it this way rather than using the watering can on it is that the watering can will spread the water all over the surrounding area, whereas this is just dedicated to the actual pots. Therefore you've got lots of water left. We'll let that soak in a little, and then we'll just give it a little bit more. And that's it. We've just got to label those up now. Let's put that out of the way so it won't fall. There we are. I think, what shall we have on this? I think we'll have some greens on these. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's nice to be in the tunnel, and we only need to write Little Gem because we all know that Little Gem is lettuce. What's the date? Oh, I missed my watch. Unfortunately my smartwatch is broke. Let's have a look. $15. No, that's not right, is it? Is it? $14th. Okay. Oh God, getting out a load of my business cards out of my pocket there. 15. Right. So 15th of April. I've been thinking about all the sowing, and I'm thinking I might leave my sowings now to of the flowers, just leave it to what I've got this year, because I'm not going to have this space to put them all, and it's not going to be long before it's fruit season. Only another couple of months and I'll be picking the strawberries and the raspberries, loganberries. A month later it'll be the gooseberries, so yeah, might leave it as it is because I'm going to have all the transplanting of everything what's in here to do as well. So we'll see. Little Gem 14 for the 4th. So that's all done, so another job done. This afternoon, I said I weren't going to do any more. There's just going to be a little bit. I am going to do veg. So the flowers are finished, but I'll still be doing. Well, the flowers are more or less finished. There's a couple of packs here. What I want to do, I've got some of these sunflower teddy bear. These only grow to 18 inches high, so I'm going to grow some of those. And I've got some rudbecca. So rudbecca. So. And then I'm going to do a few Moneymaker tomatoes. And that's it. So that's it, folks. I've had a quick look round at the seeds in here. We have got more things coming through. There's more African marigolds come through. Got quite a few of those now. Lots of cosmos. Hollyoaks is unbelievable. You've got to have a look at this, folks. I'm obviously doing something right this year. Just look at those.
So how many have we got in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 20, 22, 32 plants in there. They were taken of a lovely red one. And in here we've got same hollyhocks. There's 15 in there. So that I think I'm really chuffed about, because having last year I think there was only 4 or 5 I managed to get growing myself. To get all those, I'm well chuffed. Well chuffed. There's quite. So what else is happening? The dahlias. We've got all the dahlias, the clangers mix, the showpiece, the dwarf. We've got trays of those, maybe 30 of each of those are growing. What else? Just thinking what else. Sunflowers are growing nicely. Just look at those, got to transplant those. Sweet peas are looking good. They were some of the earlier ones. Everything really. I mean, these are the dianthus. Look at those. And then over here I've got things like the kohlrabi. That's something that never used to be popular over in England, but now it's becoming very popular. Cornflowers. I've got some different cosmos which are a bit slow off the mark on those, and they were from a packet. I think they were from a packet. No, they weren't. They were seeds what somebody gave me, so maybe they're not so good. Maybe they're a bit iffy. Never mind. Pot marigolds. There's quite a few in there. That's good. So you've probably noticed, if you've been following me over the years, that this year I haven't been doing any filming from the conservatory. The reason for that is that normally I buy in little plug plants, mini plug plants this big. This year I haven't. I've got to decide. I've had to. It's all to do with time and that, time and money. So the price of those has gone up to about £10 a tray of between 70 and 140 plants, and normally I might grow 500 to 1,000, but this year there's no point, you know. Lots of time stuff's thrown away, you know, and so this year we're not going to have the geraniums on the front. We're going to miss those. I mean, we could buy some, but I don't think we will. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in the troughs and the tubs, I'm going to use some of the plants what I've grown in here this year. So they might not exactly be the right plant for those containers, but we'll see. We'll see what we can come up against. Oh, one other thing, folks, the carrots. Oop. There you are, folks. I sown 5 rows of carrots. You can see they're growing nicely. So I've taken the propagator top off because you don't really need that. These are quite happy with the cold. So I'll grow those on, and then at some point they'll get, when they're maybe a couple of inches high, we'll transplant them. That's it then, folks, for the morning session. Time for a coffee. I'll catch you this afternoon. Good afternoon all. I'm back from my lovely dinner. I do like my food. Sirloin steaks today. Anyway, I thought what we'll do is sow some Moneymaker tomatoes. Sorry, you get the top of my head chopped off if I get too close. I said I wouldn't do any of these after last year's disaster with blight, but I'm going to try again You know, you've got to, haven't you? You've not got to give up. So, and what I'm going to do, I've got 8 of these little 3.5, 4-inch pots, squash pots. I'm going to sprinkle some seed into each of these. The reason why I'm not going to do it in trays is because the trays are quite precious, and although people say give you things back, you don't always get things back. So doing it this way, and I sprinkle some seeds, if these all grow, there's going to be too many for what I need, but what I can do is then pass them on to somebody else. And if I pass one of those over and I don't get the thing back, it's not going to matter so much. But if I pass a tray back, then I'm going to be a bit disheartened on my low income. So that's the tip of the day from me. So let's get on. Let's open the packet up. That's what they look like. They're quite small. So while I'm just going to put that packet down for a minute. Right. We're just going to sprinkle a few over here. You probably noticed that there's not that many seeds in here actually, so I can't put that many in each. I'll just sprinkle just a few. Yeah, it's one of these packets of seeds where you don't get that many in. Now, still got just a few more. They can go in there. So that's it, folks. The seeds have been sprinkled. I'm going to label the packet up so I know when I sown them. So, what was it, 14th of the 4th. And that can go in my back pocket to go with the finished ones. Then I put my gloves back on. I'm trying to keep my hands clean. They're getting a bit dry, and so let's put those on. Just going to sprinkle a little bit of soil over, like that. Not a lot. You don't have to be too particular, I don't think. You know. And to be quite honest with you, in the past I've used all sorts of soil, as you know. I've used that multi-compost by Westland, the big bags. There's twigs and all sorts in that one, and it's never really caused me any problem with anything what I sow. So, but I do tend to, you'll probably see, I do tend to just give it a little loosen up in my hand. But I'm not going to worry too much. And you'll see that I just flatten things down. There's no reason behind that. It's just cosmetics, really. I think they look tidier that way. And that's it. They've just got to be labelled up and watered. So let's get some labels out. Shall we have for these? We'll have some I think we'll have some orange ones for these. What we got? I don't know whether I've got enough orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we've not got enough orange. We'll have to go with a green one, I think, for these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we are. And if you're if you're not an experienced gardener, you'll soon get to remember that Moneymaker is a tomato. You don't need to put tomato on it. And I think you'll find that most gardeners at some point in their career will be will have grown Moneymaker. We're at 14th of the 4th. Well, it's a bit of a funny day, folks. I'm looking at the cloud formations, and to me it looks as though we could be in for a bit of thunder. And I've just had a quick peep on my app on my phone, and apparently that is true. They have actually forecast some very heavy downpours with potential hail as well, giving a white covering. So we'll have to see whether that happens or not. I was thinking of letting my hens, letting a few of them out this afternoon, and I'm just wondering whether that's going to be such a good idea. I think maybe I'll just let out a couple, because I don't want to get caught out there in the pouring rain with some hens that still haven't figured out that they've got to go back into their enclosure and coop for protection. One more to go. So quite pleased with what's been happening today. I'm even pleaser that I actually got that raised beds done yesterday, because it's a bit more damper today. There we are. I don't know whether I said in front of the camera or not, but so I apologise if I repeated this. Well, I haven't been growing this stuff in the conservatory this year like I have for the last, well, since I've been videoing for the last 4 or 5 years. I'd buy the little plug plants, and I've not bothered this year. I think for the front of our garden, I'm hoping that some of the plants what I've got here, mainly the cosmos, the cornflowers, perhaps the rutabaga, pot marigolds and the African marigolds. Hopefully that will all be enough to hopefully they'll all grow nicely and I'll be able to put those in. But what I'll do is I bring my troughs up here, and once the plants have grown, I'll transplant them into there, and then come kind of at end of May when the frosts have gone, then the stuff goes out, and it'll be taken home, put in the front of the garden. At the moment the front is got it's still got a few little daffodils out, but basically the daffodil season's gone now. The tulips are coming out, and the primrose is looking quite good. So we've still got a few weeks left for the front, and then we'll swap over again. So and it all starts again, but slightly different. Previous years on the front, it's always been marigolds, lobelia, and geraniums. Now I may still buy maybe a couple of those packs. I see our local farm shop's got a few for sale, so I might just buy, you know, just a couple of trays. But certainly I'm not going to be growing the 500 plants or 1,000 plants like I have in past years, because I want to spend a bit more time doing other things. And believe it or not, having all that amount of plants was taking over an hour, maybe an hour and a half of watering a day. So having things in the tunnel means as Morris has said up here, the plants will often grow even better because you can be more, I can't think of the word, but basically slap happy, that's it. You can just water and not worry about splashing over things, whereas in a conservatory you've got to be very careful. You don't want to be getting water all down the walls and over the windows and the windowsills, so you learn about these things given time. And as I say, gardening evolves every year. You're always trying new things. That's the joy of it. That's what keeps you going. It's not just, especially if you're, I mean, I know there's certain gardeners, or the only interest for them is just to grow the veg and that's it, just to eat. I'm not one of those. I've got the fruit. The fruit's a big part of what we eat. We like our fruit. And the flowers play a big part. They, along with the sunshine, bring a lot of joy to you. So, veg-wise, we still like the veg, but it's not as important. And to some extent, some of the things can be bought so cheaply locally. I'd rather concentrate on the fruit and the flowers, but everyone has different priorities. For us, you see, my mum and dad like the veg, but they've got a set veg what they like. They like the peas and the carrots. They like the French beans, so I grow climbing French beans. They're not really fond of runner beans. I mean, I'll be growing some of those this year, but it'll be probably to pass on to other people rather than for our personal use, although I probably will freeze a few loads to keep us going. Kohlrabi, that's one of my mum's favourites, because my mum originates from Germany, and that was what she was brought up with. So that's, if you look over, I don't know whether yeah, this tray here, they're pretty well, we've got 23 of those in, no, we've got more than that, we've got about 25 in there, and we've got another, no, that's not another, so we've got that tray. I think that's all I actually grew in this, because I was going to grow some more in a couple of months. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the only one in this. I've saved the seeds. Those are a different kohlrabi than what I've grown over the past years. They grow to 10 inches, I think it was 10 inches across, you know, in width, and they don't go woody. So we'll see. My mum will try those out and see whether they hit the mark or not. Everything else is going nicely. I've transplanted a few of the calendulas outside. Whether they're gonna be okay with the frost, I don't know, but I've got that many of them, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to take pot luck with it, and we'll see. I can just hear the odd spot of rain, and I can see the skies going black. I've got to be careful there. Yeah, I think that's about it for this session. I think I've just got to remember to give these a load of water in, which I'll do, and what else? I shall have a look around and see what else I want to do, but I think I've had enough of sowing for today. We'll see. Maybe I'll let some hens out. You'll have to see. You'll have to continue watching to see what happens next, if anything at all happens, because I can't help it, but they keep calling me for a cup of coffee and I can't refuse. So we do like I mean, it's funny, because at home it's always tea, but on the allotment's coffee, because I don't think tea tastes the same when you're using dried milk and when it's when you're not using a teapot. So there you are, folks. There's something you know about me. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Folks, rhubarb. I just thought I'd show you what how the difference is, different varieties. I've got two what I've picked today, as you can see. Now if you look here, just look at that one, all bright red, and then you've got another variety. This is a lot longer sticks, but it's more of a green. Now I can't tell you which is which. I can tell you what my suspicions are. This one is champagne, but I could be wrong because they've got all muddled up and the labels have got mixed up over time. What I can say is whether it's a green like that or whether it's a red one, it all tastes nice to me with a bit of sugar, raw. And what I do is I top and tail it, and then I always peel it because that's the way my mother taught me, and the way she was always taught, that you must always peel it. I know a lot of people don't bother with that, they'll just swill it out under the tap and then they'll slice and dice and then they'll freeze it or whatever. But that's the way I do it anyway. So there you are, folks. And this, what you're seeing here, we've got 2, 5, 9 sticks. I could probably pick them out every couple of days, to be honest. And what's going to happen with this, Mum and I will have a stick with some sugar, and the rest I'm going to freeze, and it's going to probably be used for wine making. And I'll gradually bag it all up now, and then come late summer, early autumn, when we'll start making the wine again, I'll have it all frozen. And with winemaking, with anything, like whether you're using raspberries, strawberries, rhubarb, anything like that, it's always best to freeze it first. Don't ask me what the difference is, but I have read it that you must freeze and at least have it in the freezer for a couple of days, and that I don't know what it is, but it kind of, I don't know, it does something or other. So there you are. I'll have to try and find out for you, and I'll mention that in another video. Okay, well, I thought we were going to have some rain a minute ago, so that's why I rushed and picked this, but it seems to have cleared. But I've just put the kettle on, so I'm going to have a cup of coffee in a minute, and then it's going to be hit and miss whether I let the hens out. Depends on how the weather, whether this dark clouds and that, whether they go over or misses, or we'll see. Because as I say, I don't want to be stuck outside with 2 or 3 hens trying to catch them to put them back in the pen, and it's raining heavy. Okay, see you later.